You can say that the Monsterverse turns right into pure monster smashing action, for better and for worse. Hello and welcome back, it's Fan from FlexGo. Today we are diving into our review of Godzilla x Kong The New Empire. And don't worry, we are keeping it spoiler free. Before we get started, don't forget to hit the like and subscribe button to stay updated with all our latest content. Both Godzilla and Kong are characters that have existed for the better part of a century, with dozens of films under their combined belts. For the most part, these franchises can be broken down into two categories. One is films that attempt to explore deeper issues or themes under the guise of a monster movie, like 1933's King Kong, 1954's Godzilla, or last year's Godzilla Minus One. The other seller category relies on just watching these gargantuan creatures fight each other, for little reason. Other than that, it's sort of fun to watch giants cause massive destruction and get into large-scale brawls. When the recent Monsterverse started, it at least thought it was in the former category, with the dour Godzilla in 2014 from Gareth Edwards and Kong Skull Island. But let's look at the post-Vietnam War world, but like so many of these series, the Monsterverse began as something deeper, then quickly fell into the easier second category, where the Were Cage and huge-ass kaiju overcame any semblance of a deeper meaning. Films like Godzilla King of the Monsters and Godzilla vs. Kong threw a bunch of colossi at each other, with the thinnest of stories, because really, who needs a strong story? Which has become the direction of this mash-up of a cinematic universe. The latest installment in this Monsterverse is Adam Wingard's Godzilla x Kong The New Empire, which fully embraces this direction with both arms, and what is easily the most absurd film in this universe, which is both a strength and a weakness. Exploring Godzilla x Kong The New Empire, what is the story? Godzilla x Kong The New Empire unfolds in the aftermath of Godzilla vs. Kong, where Godzilla and Kong have kept their distance from each other. Godzilla patrols the surface world, defending humans from mysterious threats and taking respite in the Colosseum, while Kong has made his home in the enigmatic Hollow Earth. Feeling the solitude of being the last of his kind, Dr. Elaine Andrews and her adopted daughter Gia, who has begun receiving mysterious visions or calls for help from Hollow Earth, team up with Titan expert Trapper and conspiracy theorist Bernie to uncover the source of these signals and stumble upon a new potentially world-threatening creature. At its core, the movie is crafted to unite Godzilla and Kong against a greater menace, steering the narrative towards an inevitable alliance and confrontation. Despite the spectacle of destruction and battles, the story primarily focuses on Kong's quest for belonging and family, drawing inspiration from the Planet of the Apes series. This emphasis on Kong's journey aims to deepen his character, positioning him as the sympathetic figure audiences will root for, and injecting meaningful stakes into the colossal showdown that the new empire promises. In our dive into the characters of Godzilla x Kong The New Empire, it's clear that the Monsterverse still struggles with creating interesting characters. These people exist primarily to set up the oncoming battle and become little more than exposition machines for explaining the things that Godzilla and Kong cannot verbally state. There are several times when characters know something simply because the plot requires that, despite there being absolutely no reason why they should have that information. Everything is incredibly convenient and inherently goofy because of this. For example, when Kong is blasted by a blast of ice from a new monster, he returns to the humans for help. But it's a good thing that within the Hollow Earth, humans have just so happened to have created a robotic arm for Kong that has been left behind and is only a quick plane right away. Despite these narrative shortcuts, the film attempts to give its human characters more agency than seen in previous installments. Rebecca Hall's portrayal of an expert in the field provides a familiar but necessary anchor for the audience, and Brian Tyree Henry delivers a performance that bridges the gap between the audience and the fantastical world of Hollow Earth with his wonder and excitement. The character of Trapper, played by Dan Stevens, stands out as the film's nod towards a more charismatic, adventurous archetype reminiscent of characters like Star-Lord from Guardians of the Galaxy. Decked out in a Hawaiian shirt and combined by classic rock tunes, Trapper's introduction and demeanor seem designed to inject a specific, albeit familiar energy into the story. While Stevens' performance is commendable, this direction for his character may strike some as a little on the nose, echoing border cinematic trends rather than offering a unique addition to the Monsterverse. In summary, Godzilla x Kong: The New Empire makes efforts to round out its human cast, providing them with moments of agency and character. It still falls into the trap of prioritizing explosion and plot convenience over deep character development. This aspect may not detract from the spectacle and thrill of monster battles for all viewers, but it's an area where the Monsterverse could seek improvement in future entries. Godzilla x Kong shifts this franchise into big dump action, and while the last few films in the Monsterverse have struggled with making this transition into a goofier direction, Adam Wingard shifts this universe into the simple monster and monster action that as this series was trying to avoid, but now seemingly wants to latch into wholeheartedly. Godzilla x Kong is an extremely dumb movie in many ways. This is a film which Godzilla and Kong square off in an epic battle, exchanging devastating blows while laying waste to iconic landmarks, including the majestic Great Pyramids. This is a world where we have allowed Godzilla to protect us from oncoming threats, despite causing untold destruction and death in the process. This again is a film that conveniently has a robot arm to give Kong just in case. At a certain point, there is not much to do here but give in and accept the stupidity of this world that Wingard is giving us, for better or for worse. In comparison to Godzilla King of the Monsters and Godzilla vs. Kong, the New Empire shifting into this new tune is much smoother and more sensical. Before, this film were fairly bland, and eventually affairs mindlessly leading to a third act conflict. That's still the basic structure of what's happening here, but there is more to enjoy on the way to that endgame, with a screenplay by Terry Russo, Simon Barrett, and Jeremy Slater. From a story by Russo, Wingard, and Barrett, Godzilla x Kong managed to make this feel more like a story than just a whole lot of setup. Even though that's exactly what it is, the journey of Kong trying to find a family in Hollow Earth is a solid choice and at least give this monster something to do that isn't walking around waiting to fight in the final half hour of the film. Meanwhile, Wenger's direction knows that the audience wants completely over-the-top action, and succeeds in providing that. These monsters traverse the world, destroying everything in their wake in several absurd fights that are good, dumb fun. It can at times feel like Wenger smashing his toys together against these landscapes, and there is some joy to be had in that ridiculousness. But in the wake of Godzilla -1, it all feels like a lot of sound and fury signifying nothing. Wingard makes this film perfect for shutting off your brain and watching these two giants knock each other out using wrestling moves that they have somehow discovered in their walls. For a series tried to be something more in the beginning. With Edward's more serious approach to Godzilla, the path to this goofy inclination is fairly disappointing. Like so many other films in these two franchises, it starts off as trying to be about something more than just a monster movie, only to eventually slide into the easy direction of amounting to little more than that. Godzilla x Kong is a vicious de-evolution into monster and monster action, but also arguably the best possible version of that transition. There is no doubt that this is a fairly moronic, but it still managed to be an improvement over what we have seen from the last two installments in this cinematic universe. If this is where the Monsterverse wants to head, Wingard is doing a decent job of making this into absurd monster smash. But given where this series started, and how these characters have thrived when attempting to be something more than just action, and recently, it's a shame that Godzilla x Kong: The New Empire is little more than Godzilla and Kong fighting each other in two pyramids. So, with that in mind, I would rate Godzilla x Kong: The New Empire a 6 out of 10. It's a film that delivers on its promise of monster and monster action, but falls at other points, as I mentioned. And that's a wrap up on our journey through Godzilla x Kong: The New Empire. What did you think of the movie? Did it live up to your expectations, or were you rooting for a different outcome? Drop your thoughts and theories in the comment below. We love hearing from you. If you enjoyed this review and wants to be a part from our growing cinema-loving community, hit that subscribe button and ring the bell to never miss out on our latest reviews and insights. Until next time, Flexgoers, keep the reels rolling.